Minecraft is filled with so many beautiful textures for building that it's honestly quite astounding for a voxel game. So what if I just took that away? This texture pack replaces every single block in Minecraft with the exact same white square, and I wanted to know if I could truly build anything of value without being able to see anything. Oh, and for one more added bit of pain, I changed the language so that I couldn't read what the blocks were. So this should be fun. Oh lord, okay. Oh my gosh, there's more wood types than I thought. Oh, okay, there's walls. So, to save you the pain of sitting through my blabbering, I basically spent the first heaven knows how long trying to figure out the blocks just from the sound that they were making when I placed them down. It took quite a while to get this under wraps, and I was a little bit hesitant to actually start placing anything down, but in the end, we just had to push forward and I went down with a basic layout first. I'll admit to you guys that this challenge was extremely daunting while I was building it. My palms were sweaty, my knees weak, arms spaghetti, mom's spaghetti, all of the rest of that. I know that's cliche. Oh, I cringe at myself. But this challenge for some reason was really throwing me for a loop. It kind of felt like I didn't really have any knowledge on what I was doing, even though I have all these years of building experience under my belt. I never realized how much my knowledge of color theory really helped, and it became sort of a crutch. So stripping that away and not being able to definitively tell if any of these blocks had any sort of cohesion was difficult, and I would highly recommend you try this yourselves. I'll leave the pack in the description down below so you guys can try it out yourselves. But this was definitely a skill test. It helped me define shape, I think, a little bit better without the noise of each block. But it was a real struggle, and in the end, no spoilers, but it definitely wasn't what I was expecting this build to look like, for better or for worse. But in this build today, I wanted to keep it fairly simplistic. I've been in a little bit of a creative rut recently, and I've been really struggling to post videos for you guys. So I wanted to come out here just with something that's completely silly, that I had no intentions of looking any way good in any respect, and I just wanted to post something. I stayed within fantasy because if it's not broke, no need to fix it. I sound like an absolute millennial. I'm getting old, guys. I'm getting very old. But while this builds in the background, I wanted to ask you guys, what is your favorite game to play? I know that you guys come here for Minecraft content, but is that the only thing you like to play? If so, how many years do you have under your belt? I would love to know down in the comments below. I'm trying to find new games that I can branch into that are similar in vein to Minecraft, but are a little bit less creatively demanding, shall we say. Now, I find that I tend to yap a little bit too much when I don't have a script in front of me, so I wanted to pick out key details of this build that I think you guys could probably benefit from in your own builds, even if this one doesn't turn out that good. If you noticed, I'm using non-solid blocks to trim out the two different layers between my builds. I see a lot of newbies use the same trim material that they use on the walls and in the corners to trim out the layer divide, and I think sometimes it can look a little bit blocky. So maybe in your next builds, try using maybe gates, for example, and putting behind them a color block that matches in with, say, the roof, or an accent color you want to have in the build. It just adds that little bit of visual depth to it that I think having a full block really misses out on. Also, along the lines of this tower, I felt that it was a little too high without any sort of balancing weight on it, so I added a balcony, which could have been better. It definitely could have been better, but it added a little bit of weight that then brought the tower downwards, and it made it feel more grounded into the build. Whereas if I had left it blank, I feel like it would have felt a bit like a Pringles can that you'd strapped onto the side. With the additions of the final decoration, I would say that in this moment I was feeling very confident, and oh my, how my hubris will come to get me in the end. Now, this build is coming to an end, and it definitely was something that I was just having fun with and just playing around with. I was procrastinating it and overthinking it for the longest time because that's just who I am. I'm just a big procrastinator. But I hope you guys end up enjoying this final result. And without further ado, here it is. Look guys, I never once claimed that this actually looked good in the end. So many of the blocks were not what I thought they would be, but overall, I think if you just switch off your brain, the shape is good and everything else is alright. But that has been today's video. I really appreciate you guys' patience and tolerance with me. I'm trying to get better at editing and trying to get back on that horse again. I'll see you again, hopefully later this week with another video. Bye bye now.